Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the final weekend warm-up of the season, and that is of course for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. As I've done all season, I will be covering a fair few stats ahead of the weekend, so if you are looking for a specific part of the video, you can find timestamps in the description and of course as a pinned comment. But let's kick things off by having a quick look back at last year's race. We had some good early wheel-to-wheel action between Kimi Räikkönen and Daniel Ricciardo, with the Aussie holding the Finn off to keep the fourth place. However, Ricciardo later retired from the race with hydraulic problems. Sounds a little bit familiar, doesn't it? Kevin Magnussen had an early spin through turn 3, a scruffy opening lap for him. Nico Hülkenberg tried to pass Sergio Perez but locked up, cut the corner and took the position illegally according to the stewards, and was handed a 5-second time penalty. There was a great battle between Lance Stroll and Romain Grosjean, with the Frenchman eventually coming out on top in the end. But after that though, we didn't really see much action at all. Gasly went for a spin, Sainz was released from the pits with the left front that wasn't properly attached, and Hamilton fought hard to try and beat his teammate to the win but couldn't get it done. But it was very much Valtteri Bottas's weekend. He took pole position on the Saturday with a lap time of a 1:36.231. As said there, he also went on to take the win ahead of teammate Lewis Hamilton, and the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel rounded off the podium. The Finn was also voted by the fans as driver of the day, and he set the fastest lap on lap 52 with a 1:40.650. As I said there, very much a Bottas weekend. Before I get on to some of the circuit information then, is there anything left to fight for in the championship? Well, Max Verstappen is just 3 points behind Valtteri Bottas in the championship and could beat the Finn to 4th this weekend. He can also catch Kimi Räikkönen, although that is less likely as the Ferrari man is 17 points clear of the Dutchman. It's doable, but it really is a tall order. And of course, Bottas can also catch Räikkönen for 3rd, with him being just 14 points behind. The battle to be the best of the rest also looks pretty set, with Nico Hülkenberg sitting 11 points clear of Sergio Perez in 7th. Checo can catch him, but assuming that the top 3 teams see their drivers reach the end of the race, that could well lock out the top 6. And so the maximum Perez could score would be 6 points for 7th place. So if he's going to do it, he will need a huge slice of luck. It's also a similar story in the Constructors' Championship really. Renault are comfortable in 4th with a 24-point gap back to Haas in 5th. To be perfectly honest, Haas will need a race filled with absolute chaos if they are to overturn that lead. The minimum they would require is a 3-5 finish, with Renault failing to score. One thing to keep an eye on though is the battle between Sauber and Force India. Sauber are just 6 points behind the Pink Panthers and could overhaul that gap to pip them to 7th in the Constructors' Championship. And out of all of those I've mentioned, that is more than doable, particularly if Charles Leclerc and Marcus Ericsson continue to perform as they did in Brazil and show the pace that car has got. Let's have a look at some of the track stats then, and the track length is 5.554 kilometres, or if you prefer that in miles, that is 3.451. There are 21 corners around Yas Marina, that is 12 to the left and 9 to the right, and there will be 55 laps on Sunday. According to the McLaren website, drivers are at full throttle for 63% of the lap, and Mercedes say that the highest lateral G around the circuit is at turn 3, and that comes in at 4.1. There are 2 DRS zones around the circuit. The first runs between turns 7 and 8, with the second one just a couple of corners later, and that runs between turns 10 and 11. Now, it was confirmed earlier this year that both the DRS zones at Yas Marina will be extended in yet another attempt to try and improve overtaking opportunities around the track. Therefore, obviously the key overtaking spots are down the DRS straights and into turns 8 and 11, but with the second detection point coming up very quickly after the first DRS zone ends, what we do quite often see around Abu Dhabi is the car that has just been overtaken getting a shot at revenge, if you like, and a chance to retake that position into turn 11. So we do see cars scrapping, as with Stroll and Grosjean last year, for a fair few corners. Other than that though, overtaking is definitely tricky. We do sometimes see moves into turn 5 after that fast sweeping start to the lap, but it is very tight through there, and so it is fairly rare outside of the opening lap. We have seen moves in the past through turn 14, but that can and has ended in tears before. Really, it is all about maximising the opportunities that DRS offers up. The tyres available this weekend in Abu Dhabi are the 3 softest, and that's the Super Soft, the Ultra Soft and the Hyper Soft. And interestingly enough, Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull are all taking 8 sets of the Hypersoft tyres. That is mirrored by both the Haas boys as well as Ericsson and Leclerc. Alonso and Van Dorn as well as Perez and Ocon are taking 9 sets. The Toro Rosso boys and Stroll and Sirotkin are all taking 10. but the Renaults of Sainz and Hülkenberg are both only taking 7 sets each. When it comes to the race strategy though, well, a one-stopper tends to be the winning strategy around Abu Dhabi as shown by Valtteri Bottas last season of course. However, the tyres that they're taking this year are a little bit softer than the ones they used last year, so it could be a different story this season. But according to Pirelli, the track surface around Yas Marina is not really that demanding on the tyres, and so personally I would be surprised if we see anything other than a one-stopper certainly from the top 3 teams. As for the weather this weekend, well, there will be weather, but realistically, it's not going to rain. So expect it to stay dry for the whole weekend, but for those who are interested and perhaps who live in a little bit of hope of a surprise downpour, at time of recording and according to the Met Office, there is less than a 5% chance of rain on Friday and Saturday with temperatures hitting as high as 30 degrees Celsius. And when it comes to the race, the chance of rain stays at less than 5%, and temperatures once again could still hit highs of 30 degrees, and that's despite the race running so late on in the afternoon. So yeah, a dry weekend. On to my one to watch then, and weirdly, I've really struggled with this, but this time around I'm going to go with Charles Leclerc. It is his last race for Sauber before making that move to Ferrari for next season, and so he will inevitably want to go out on a high. He has also been in very good form lately, scoring points in 4 of the last 6 races. Mechanical issues in Japan and being wiped out by Grosjean in Austin, of course, saw him retire from the other 2. And I think it's fair to say that he was stellar in Brazil, comfortably finishing best of the rest. It is his first F1 race weekend outing in Abu Dhabi, of course, but last season in F2 he did finish 2nd and 1st over both of those races. And that included a great scrap on the final lap to take the win in the last race of the season. If you haven't seen that, definitely go back and watch it on YouTube, it's brilliant. But the reason I struggled is because there are a number of drivers who are leaving the sport or moving on who we ought to be keeping an eye on as well. Daniel Ricciardo will want to end his Red Bull stay in style. Kimi Raikkonen will likely want to do the same at Ferrari, as will Fernando Alonso at McLaren in his final F1 race probably ever, although he is still talking about possibly returning in the future, but we'll see. Esteban Ocon is going to want to prove a point, as will a number of other drivers who find themselves without a seat next year. And Brendan Hartley will have to have a very good weekend if he wants to keep himself in the frame for 2019 at Toro Rosso. So, as well as Charles Leclerc, definitely keep an eye on all of those. That is it then for the final weekend warm-up of the season. And so for the last time, what are your predictions for this weekend? Who do you think will take pole position on Saturday? Who are you expecting to win on Sunday? And which driver is your one to watch? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Now, I will be back tomorrow at 4 PM UK time for the Friday Roundup Live. And don't forget to join me over the course of the weekend for the qualifying and race watch-alongs, the qualifying report, and the post-race stream. In the meantime, though, you can follow me over on social media. Links to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and to Discord are all in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.